Good morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome to this Monday morning. It's raining where we are, absolutely tipping it down in the UK, so just a typical UK horrible Monday morning. Dead grey outside, absolutely throwing it down. But it's Monday, it's come around fast. So how are you all doing? Is the sound and video good, first of all? I'll tell you about what we've been up to this weekend. 17. Good morning, Jasper. Morning, Mark. Mark Williams, you always seem to say hello first. Good morning. You're on the ball, dude. I like it. Have you? Yeah, hi, Matty. We have. Yeah, it's been good. Just goes so fast, though, doesn't it? It goes so fast, it's unbelievable. And before you know it, you're back at home again. So, Dan Howdy. Hi, Shaggo. Welcome back. Guys, are you talking about the weather where I'm located? It's crap. Morning, Ames. Morning, Al. How are you doing? Well done. Thanks for checking in, everybody. So, guys, let me just go through on Thursday and Friday. I didn't do any trading, none. I didn't touch the mouse or anything. I just went and had a little break, really. We went to that Beef and Tower Hilton at Deansgate. It was good. It was all right. But by the time you've got rid of the dog, dropped your kid off, gone to Manchester and checked in, but had a few drinks, it's time to come back home again, isn't it? So it just goes so fast, it really does. But it was good, it was a refresh. It was nice to take an extra day off on Friday as well. So I'm back at it. Execution this week is going to have to be absolutely spot on for me. We'll have to see how it goes, what sets up. But there's nothing happening at all at the moment for me. It was good, Manchester was. We went down to the Canal Street, is it? The gay village. That was quite entertaining. Some strange things going on down there. Went to a few cocktail bars. That was it. I had some really nice beers. We found this fantastic little bar called At Last Bar. So you look at the sign and you think it's called Atlas Bar, but it's after you've had a few drinks, it's actually called At Last Bar. It's at the bottom of Deansgate. I don't know if anybody knows that, but it was really good. Really nice beer in there. It was the nicest pint of the night. So we went back and finished off in there and had another one. But apart from that, yeah, it was good. All good. Back in. Went to football on Saturday. My little boys under sevens team. They've gone 4 out of 4. They're unbeaten now for the season. They play for Congleton Town, and we played a team called Winsford Town and we beat them. So it's been a good weekend, really. It's been a good one. What have you guys been up to? Anybody been up to anything interesting? Did you smash it on Friday, by the way? The DAX on Friday. I thought it was gonna go, and it didn't. You have to sort of think about this. Let me just show you what I'm thinking about on Friday with the DAX. Now, if you go to a 1 minute time frame, let me show you this trade, because I spotted this trade on a 1 minute time frame, but it's not part of the strategy and it's not part of what I'm doing here. And so I didn't take it or anything like that, but it just stood out massively for me. So look at this. Let me show you. This is the power of the initial balance when it hits. Right, so that's your 8 a.m. low on the 1 minute time frame. Now look at that there. Right there. Look at that retest and rejection of the IB. Absolutely perfect. That is pin perfect. If you were to just wait until you got the red candle, the actual rejection, and put your stop just above that high, and then aim for these lows, it's called I look at it like an ABC equals D trade, where it's like a bear flag, but you sort of get the drive down, and then obviously the retest of the IB. You get the nice red candle, which is I always like to look at them as if they're full. They don't have to be engulfing, but as long as they're full, it means that there's momentum there. If you looked at that in like a delta sort of chart with the orders in the bar, you would see heavy selling into that candle definitely, and the delta switch. And then obviously you get the rotation down. You'd be aiming for this low. Now that's a perfect day trade for me. So have a look at that. AB smoked lots of weed over the weekend. It was lovely, right? Brilliant. So you're floating into Monday morning then, are you, Abes? Fabulous stuff. But let me just show you, if I was trading this on my time frame here, this is when you've got to sort of be thinking to yourself, this probably isn't going to go. Now, obviously you use the 5 minute opening range on this. Now, I'd be looking at this in here thinking, if this goes, or if this goes, then brilliant. But once it doesn't go here at 10:45 and it just chops into the US session like that, and then you get no fresh selling into the US session with sort of like no key lows being broken, if you're short on this day here, you really have got to think about getting out your position, because it's highly likely once we hit that golden zone, which is like 7:30 to 8, we get the ramp up, which we always do. We always see that end of day ramp, unless you get a proper down day in the indices where they're all down and they all move down together. You know, more often than not, you hit 8 o'clock or you hit 8:30 UK time, and you just get that push up all the time. Now, there's various reasons why that happens, squaring up a position, stuff like that, end of day sort of hedge funds that are sort of getting in or out of their trades or having to get trades on. But you do see it a lot, so I'm always very careful if I'm short and the momentum's sort of running out, because as you can see here, the momentum is running out, isn't it? You get the push down, but then it doesn't sort of crack off for you all day, and then, you know, just into the close they ramp it back up just to mess with shorts. So you really have got to be careful. It's something to think about. If you are short on a day, you know, and it's not sort of going off for you, make sure that you take some profits or get out of the trade. Let's just have a look, see if there's anything setting up on this DAX. No, still nothing setting up for me at all. Need a slightly bigger pullback first before we hit it short. It's a tight B though, guys. 52. Is it 52? No, it's not. 48. Sorry, Monday morning maths. Sorry. Yeah, 48. That's how I've got it anyway, I think. Let me just key it in. 7. High there, yeah. So yeah, it's a tie one. So hopefully we get a bit of movement. Let's have a look who's in the chat. Morning, Zach. How you doing, son? What are you doing this morning? Are you somewhere wet and rainy? Trader Z, I took a lot of shrooms in the weekend. Right, unbelievable. I don't know about you guys, right? But if you're doing that type of stuff over the weekend, I don't find that I can get back into things very quickly on a Monday morning. I'm seriously considering thinking that, like, you know, giving alcohol up completely. I don't think it benefits me at all, alcohol. It's nice and it's good. You can have it, you know, like when you're out, you feel good and you're drinking and stuff, and it's always nice to have a beer. But I just, you know, like it takes me like 5 or 6 days to get my head back right. So I don't know. It's like, is it worth it? Is it worth those like 4 or 5 days of that, like that brain sort of freeze that you get, where everything goes a bit slower after you've had a night out? Especially once you get over 30, I think it happens, and it becomes more and more severe. It takes longer and longer and longer to sort yourself out. So I'm thinking, I am seriously considering giving it up. Probably won't though, but it's something I'm considering. Morning, Sam. How you doing? But the IB is not the same in the 1 minute chart. Yeah, so if you traded on the 1 minute chart, Axe Trader, you use the IB on the 1 minute chart. If you're trading on the 5 minute chart, use the IB on the 5 minute chart. That's how I've seen that it works so much better if you do that. The beers definitely affect my Monday trading. Yeah, they do. They do change. They do. So that's it, right? So you're a trader, the beers affect your trading on a Monday. So is that acceptable? You know, if you're trying to be the best and you're trying to do things properly, is having a beer acceptable? You know, because like, fair enough if you're in a prop firm and you've got a boss who's saying, right, this is not good. You come in here on a Monday morning and you're shit, you don't make any money. You know, like you're missing opportunities, you're slow. But if you're a retail trader who's on his own and he's got to police himself and he's got to sit there and be critical about his performance and nobody else is going to do it for him, you know, is going out on a Saturday or a Sunday and having beers, you know, does it affect you? Well, if it does, you've got to sort of think about maybe stopping it, haven't you? And maybe that's like, you know, too severe. Maybe you're thinking, oh, well, how do I have a life? But I don't know if the best traders do. I don't think, you know, like that Nav guy, I don't think he was out having beers on a Saturday and letting it affect his performance on a Monday. So, something to think about. I'm not saying I'm definitely going to quit drinking forever or anything like that, but I think I can cut it down a little bit and just not go as all in on the days when I do go out. Then maybe it'd be a good thing. Only sometimes it's worth Mark Wogan. Heroin. Right, okay. It's all good, Mark. Zach, you've got a day off, have you? Yeah, it's rough out there, son. It really is. Stay in bed. Hungover with small kids at home is the worst. Yeah, that is bad. That's definitely... You need to... Well, who do you get, though, that wants to look after your children for a full 24 hours or a couple of days? That's the thing. We have people who look after Henry. Henry's my youngest. He will he will go to his nanny and granddad's and stay there. But like, you know, like for dinner time, lunchtime, he's coming back, so you've got to get prepared. Quaaludes, yes. Now that Wolf of Wall Street there, Trader's Ed. Warren Buffett shoots heroin every day. Hey, that guy eats steak and coke every day, from what I've read, Steve. Don't think he's shooting heroin. Nothing would surprise me though. I barely drink these days. Ian, yeah, that's cool. I agree. I don't think it doesn't do much for me anyway. It really doesn't. I'll have a beer on a Friday, maybe with a meal on a Saturday and Sunday, but I don't actively drink. I think you're right. Well, Sam, you don't look like you actively drink because you've got the six-pack, haven't you? So I don't believe that you do hit it hard, to be fair. But the worst thing for me, Sam, is the diet as well. That goes out the window. So it's all like a you know, like a stepping stone, isn't it? I'll go out, I'll get drunk, you know, I'll party, do whatever. Wake up the next morning, it's like right straight away. It's like I need something that's going to make me feel like full in my stomach because I feel awful. So you go and smash a full English at the hotel. If the hotel's, you know, serving breakfast, then great. You go and get balls deep in the buffet, don't you? And then it just steps from there. And then like that afternoon, that evening, it might, I can't be bothered cook. I feel awful, so it'll be a takeaway. And then like you're too far in then down the bad path of sort of letting yourself go, and I find it very difficult to rein myself in and stop it. So it's not just the beer, it's all the crap and all the food that you eat after. Like I seem to lose weight, lose 4, 5, 6 pounds, and then I'll go out, I'll be feeling good about myself because I feel like I've lost a bit of weight, and then it'll all just get undone in one day, and it's like I'm back to square one again. So I think if I can take the drinking part out of it, then obviously it sort of keeps me on the straight and narrow, and I don't go down the path of having these like bad days of takeaways, Chinese's, McDonald's, all the crap that you guys probably do yourselves. It's just the first stepping stone is the drinking. So obviously if you can take that out, then you're going to stop all the other crap, aren't you, that follows it. So it's something that I might have to do it. Booze leads you massively astray. Yeah, it does. For me, Sam, it really does. It does. And then obviously I stopped going to the gym as well. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the gym. If somebody says to me on Monday morning after I've been out on the Friday or the Saturday, like, are you going to the gym? Are you getting on a run? It's like, no way. I feel awful still from the weekend. You sort of lose that spring in your step. And I have that spring in my step. If I'm just being like myself and normal and just eating okay, and I'm not claiming to be Mo Farah or I eat salad every day, I don't, but just to sort of keep myself in what I call sort of equilibrium, which is my sort of everyday me, going out takes me away from that, and it takes me so long to get back. I don't know if it's worth it, really, looking at the bigger picture. Make a smoothie each morning, Ian. I would do, right, but after a few beers and a heavy weekend, there is no way I am going near a smoothie machine, Ian. No way. Like, I just want bacon. I want sausages. I want coffee, like strong coffee. And that smoothie machine is, you know, that is staying in the cupboard. That is not coming out. By the following Thursday or Wednesday, I will have persuaded myself to get back on it. But that's how long it takes me. Like, I can go out on the Friday and Saturday and still can't get myself back right for like the Wednesday or the Thursday. So, morning, Ed. Yeah, it is like a snowball effect. Definitely, it just keeps on. But until you realise by Wednesday that you get on the scale and you've put all that weight back on, and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, I've done it again. I'm back to where I was again. So and then you sort yourself out. It normally comes from football with me. If I go football on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm back right again by that day. I feel like the next morning when I wake up, I feel myself again. Have you ever traded under the influence? No, definitely not, Trader's Ed. I couldn't handle it. I really couldn't. My head's not the strongest on a normal day, let alone if I've had anything crazy. So yeah, so this is it. So my execution this week, guys, let's get into it. I've got to get it right. I really have. There's a few things last week that unsettled me. There really was. I've spoken to you about it, obviously. I think it's down to the fact that there's a bit of pressure on me. Like, I think, like, it is. It must be affecting me somewhere, because obviously I haven't felt feelings like this for ages. And my execution is normally fantastic, but I just started to slowly undo myself after Monday and Tuesday last week. So I'm back. I've got to execute right this week. One thing that I've got to do is get the execution bang on. Who watched AJ lose? I didn't watch AJ, but I got up in the morning and watched the UFC. That was awesome. That was the UFC. It was good. I think I woke up at about 5 o'clock. Set my alarm for 4, but didn't wake up, and woke up about 5 and caught the last fight with Volkanovski. What a killer that guy is! Unbelievable. Great fight that was. But I didn't watch the boxing. I don't really like AJ. I don't, Dave. I'm not a massive fan of him. For me, he should have fought Tyson Fury when he's had the chance, and he just seems to, he seemed to like always be back, like not backing himself in that fight, and I don't know why. Obviously, it's all down to money, innit? But I've never been his biggest fan. He's a bit too robotic for me. Ortega fight was brilliant. Yeah, it was so good. It was awesome, Zach. I was up watching it with you. I watched it live. I was up at, I think I got up at like 10 to 5 or something like that. Made a strong coffee and watched it, and it was awesome. Volkanovski was so good. He's so tough, that guy is. Mark. Yeah, Mark, you had doubts from his ring walk. Too cocky, too arrogant, yeah. I bet you any money he'll take the Tyson Fury fight now, though, Mark. Now he's like, got... like the money's not there for him now. The only big fight for him would be the Tyson Fury fight now. And I hope Tyson Fury tells him he doesn't want to do it with him now. Tells him he's got to get back in the ring and fight somebody else and win again first, somebody proper. Because it's all a laugh. It's all stupid. It's all about money. I don't pay for it though, guys. Just putting it on here. If anybody wants me to sort that out for them, I can. If you get onto Twitter for me, there's a guy, right, who I know, who has a, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on YouTube, but I'll say it anyway. So he's got the Amazon stick, whatever you call it. He has it, and he'll sort you one out with all the Sky channels on and stuff like that. And it's like, I think I pay him 40 quid a year or 35 quid for a year subscription. So all the UFC and all the Sky Sports and BT and that, I don't actually pay for it. I just watch it through this lovely little stick that I've got, which is nice. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on camera though, but it is what it is. I don't think they're going to come and close me down, knock on my door and ask for it back, or tell me to turn it off or something. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else has got one. Sorry, Jeff Bezos. I'm sure you've got enough money anyway, dude. Mark, who's your Twitter, mate? Is that who's my Twitter as in what's my Twitter or who's my Twitter? My Twitter is Mark Heath Meller. All lowercase. I don't know if that makes any difference. Does that help you out, dude? Yeah, FBI will be knocking on my door, probably. What I'm going to do this week, though, guys, I'm going to put some videos out, like I've said with that 3 Edge on about Bitcoin. I didn't do it last week. I didn't have time, and I was too irked with everything that was going on. So I'll do some. I'm going to do a couple of videos this week with some 3 Edge on. How I use the IB on a 1 minute time frame, and how I trade Bitcoin with a mechanical edge that's fully sort of mechanical, and it comes with indicators that you have to use with an entry and exit on. So have a look at it. They'll be on. I think there'll be one on tomorrow and there'll be one on Thursday. I haven't done any recording or anything like that yet, and it's just going to be me here sat like this, basically going through it on a chart. So it might be something that's worth your while checking out, and if you could like it, that would help me out massively as well. But yeah, see what you think. Both edges again are obviously be back tested as well, so you can see the win rate, the loss rate, how much R over the last year they've made or lost. So have a look at it. 16R up already this morning, Sierra. Right. I had some dude on Twitter last night called, does anybody know this guy called Vinny E-Mini? I think Tom knows him, I think Tom speaks to him. This guy called Vinny E-Mini. He's sort of like trying to like jump on my Twitter last night saying that he's made, let me just read the tweet out. Just ridiculous again, this guy is. But I know he's a bit of a strange guy, and he likes to sort of always get on to people, and anybody that's doing anything he doesn't like it himself, he'll sort of like jump on and try and do stuff. So the tweet is, and it's obviously his account, but it's called the Deucey, and he's put, looks like Vinny E-Mini just won yet another trading contest with his algo box. 4,000% return against Warrior Trading. Maybe you guys get him banned again so you stop looking so goddamn awful, with the link to his YouTube. So obviously that's really him, and it's his, because like who would be cheerleading for somebody else? It just doesn't work out like that. So that's probably his like other Twitter account, right? So I look onto it and I go on there because I don't mind like talking about these stupid people. And if he so let's just work it out, right? If you've made 4,000%, like he claims, what the hell are you doing on YouTube talking to people like me? If you're so much better at this than me, why are you tweeting to me about it? Just get on with your life, man. If I could make 4,000% on an account, on my account that I've got now, I'd be living in the Bahamas. Like, I would be on a yacht somewhere. I wouldn't be tweeting me, little old me with 700 YouTube subscribers, however much it is, like, about how good I am. Just get on with it, man. If you're so good, just get on with it. Go and do you. You're so good. You're such a winner. You're obviously, such a ledge. And another thing, like, why are you selling trading systems if you're so good? Why would you not want to keep that system for yourself if it makes so much money? Like, what is wrong with you? These people are just so stupid. You know what I mean? I wouldn't disturb him. I know I'm not trying to poke a cobra because I know he's an absolute weirdo, but at the end of the day, like, come on, man. He must surely, he's either got some sort of personality disorder or something, because he must even know that people just think, like, what is this guy on? Like, if he's making so much money and he's so good, 4,000%. All right, dude. Go and do it. Go and make your 4,000%. If it's that easy and it's that good, just you go do you. Enjoy your yacht. You must have a £100 million yacht, surely. That's how I see it. But these people are just crazy. Such a snake oil type industry, innit, with all these people. And I think he's got accounts where he's pretending to be him, and he's tweeting to himself, pretending to be himself, man. It's unbelievable. Like, so he's talking to himself back and forth about how good he is between his own accounts. It's just crazy. Let's get back onto the chat. Do you trade the range of IB when fails to go lower, targeting the high of IB opposite for short? Axe Trader, you can do, buddy. There's definitely some edge in that as well. There really is. On a 1 minute time frame, it is a proper trading strategy, but the win rate, it all looks very easy on the days that it works, but the win rate's not very good. So you can fade it, you really can, but you need certain mechanical entry points to do it, basically, and then you've got to back test them, because there's loads of different ways that you can skin that cat and trade the failure of it. But it's tricky. It's not as easy as you think. The win rate's low, and how I've seen it is you would only be able to trade it on days where the R rate's acceptable, where it gives you the entry and the exit and the stop, if you know what I mean. Let me just see if I can find a day that we could possibly look at. That's definitely not a good day to do it. Let's just see if we can skip through. So let's just get rid of these. Let me just try and talk you through something. Delete. So on a 1 minute time frame, here, there's your low of the IB. Yeah, there's your high. Let's just get the high in. Okay, here's a high. So you could have a strategy, right, that the first probe through the IB here is a fade. So if you're getting short in here and expecting that to be a reversal point there, now you would need an entry. You could just say we go through it and we close back below with a red candle. That could work. Your stock could go above, and you could look to take profits at 50% and then take the rest off when it touches the bottom of the IB. That could be a profitable mechanical strategy for somebody. Now what I've seen is the ones where you get a pin bar through there are the best trades. Now mechanical entries don't define pin bars because they can look all different ways, can't they? You might get one that's quite big, you might get one that's quite small, you might get an aggressive looking one where the nose is very tight. But that is a profitable strategy. It really is. I've back tested that and it does work, but the win rate on it wasn't great. Now, there were certain days where the IB was absolutely huge, and I'm talking massive. Like, so let's say you get a 100 tick IB and you get a push up through the top of it and you get a pin bar that forms here. Your risk would be like 9 ticks and the bottom of the IB would be like 120 ticks away, and it would win. Like, you would collect all of the money on that day and you would make like 11, 12 R on that trade, and that's how it worked. So you would like have loads of losing trades though, like maybe 9 or 10 losers in a row, but then the odd days when the IB was huge and you'd get that pin through it, you would make all that money. Now, I don't know if that's acceptable to somebody to sit there and lose for all them days. For me, the win rate wasn't great, and I found that when you had a long a long week or two of losing, you were very, way more likely to either stop trading because you couldn't handle the losses every day, although it would only be the one trade. You're constantly in like a losing sort of feedback loop. And then the one day that you won, nobody's got any way of knowing that the winner would be coming, but it's very, very sort of easy to be not trading on that day. You might want to think, fuck, I don't want to lose any more money. I'm not happy I keep losing. You might have looked at other trading strategies by that point and moved to them because obviously you just think this thing's not working, and then it would work and you would be paid. Also, what happens if you weren't trading the day that the winner took place? Like, that's possible, isn't it? Like if you were doing it manual and you weren't doing it with an algo, it's possible that the exact day that winner come along, let's say it was Friday for me, I'm in the Hilton, I'm sat there in the Hilton and this thing plays out, or I might be on a plane somewhere, or I might, life could happen, something bad could happen at home and I might not be in front of the computer. Now, at that point, you've missed that big winning day, and then for a fact you've got to sit there and take all them losses again because it's only big winning days. So this is the things that you have to think about when you develop these trading strategies. But this is a winning strategy. It really is. 1 minute time frame. Mark the high, mark the low. Trade the range. The first push out of it, fade it. Wicks or a pin bars, definitely. Take the close back in with your stop above it, and you're targeting the bottom of the range. So have a look at that. See if it makes any sense to you guys. And see how it works with you, and see if you can sort of get your head around it. Back test it. There's definitely profit there really is, but whether or not you guys can make anything of it, I don't know if that explains it for you, Axe Trader. You might see something completely different than me though, mate. You might be looking at fading the like a different move out of it, not the first push. I don't know. So you might be trading. You don't let my analysis and how I look at it affect how you look at it, right? I say this a lot because everybody sees things differently. You might be looking at something completely different than me, and you might make way more money than me by using it. So don't let my sort of analysis corrupt yours. You might think to yourself that you need to be doing something different with it, and if that's the case, then do it. If it makes money, there's no right or wrong, is there? Just put that IB back in. So there's still nothing setting up for me, guys. Has anybody got a trade yet this morning? Has anybody pressed buy or sell on the DAX? Or has anybody pressed buy or sell anywhere else? What are you doing? Let us know. Let us know what you're up to. Still nothing for me though. Nothing. He's that guy with like 4 different trading desks for himself in the same room with all the Gucci. Yeah, that's it. What a ledge. I agree. But it's just like, the returns are just crazy. If you could make 4,000% or whatever in a trading competition, like, you're not going to be, that's not normal. So let's say, you could make that much. And I know people would say, oh, well, it might be because I could only trade with this much or that much. But if you're making 4,000% and it's with $100 account, right? just by, like, even if you push it to $1,000, or let's say $10,000, it's not going to change your psychology that much. It really isn't. It's not like okay, so it would change your psychology if you got told you got to do it with 1 million or 10 million. Then I understand it changes your psychology then, because the jump in numbers is so huge. Meaningful, let's say, not huge because obviously similar, but more meaningful. But from $100 to $1,000 to $10,000, like that, it doesn't mean anything. They're all relatively small amounts of money that, from a psychological point, would be tradable in the same way that somebody making 4,000% would be able to trade $1,000 and $10,000. I'm not saying this guy can trade $10 million like that, but he would be able to make that much money every day that he wouldn't be mithering me on Twitter or YouTube, would he? He just wouldn't. It's just crazy. I'm short footy currently, right? Is it real that the UK has no fuel? Yes, it is, Traders Ed. I don't think we've got no fuel. I just think everybody's brought it. It's just, they've just pinched the supply, haven't they? Everybody's pinched the future supply of like the next week or so, because everyone's filled the tank up. It'd be similar to like if everybody went downstairs now and put the kettle on at the same time, we probably wouldn't have enough electric. If everybody in the UK put the kettle on at the same time, we probably wouldn't have enough electric for everybody. It's the same with fuel. If everybody goes and fills the tank up on the same day in 24 hours, we're probably not going to have enough fuel for everybody. But it's all political. I think I read yesterday, I don't want to bore you with politics, that BP have done it and leaked it on purpose because BP want cheaper drivers, basically. They don't want to be paying these lorry drivers more money. They just don't. For them, it affects their margins and they don't want to be doing it. So they want the European drivers in. They want the cheaper labour from Europe in to keep the price down, to keep their wage bill down. And if the European drivers will come in and do it for cheaper than the UK drivers, then that keeps the UK drivers' pay down. So BP want European drivers in. They want the government to get these short-term visas in and allow more in. So if you're BP and you control the petroleum market, how would you do it? How would you get the government to, bend the rules for you and get these European drivers in? You create a fuel scare, don't you? So if you just follow the money and follow the people that control things in that particular market, you'll always see what's going on behind the curtain. So BP have created it. They released the scare. They sort of, I think there was a spokesman or something who was speaking to a government minister the other day and it got released to the press. Well, that's probably come from BP. And now the government are sort of caving in and saying, oh yes, we must allow these short-term visas. We need to get more and more of them in. But before, that Grand Chaps guy, I agree with him. Pay the lorry drivers more. Pay our UK drivers more. They deserve more. It's a shitty job. You don't want someone driving a 50-ton wagon who can't drive, who's drove from Poland and is tired. Give our guys more. Make the job. Make it become more professional so that our guys feel like, they're part of something that's better. Pay our UK people more money. I've never got a problem with that. But by doing this now again and caving and getting all the European drivers in, that's not the answer. That's a short-term answer. But for our country, it's not a long-term problem solver. The problem is we need to pay our lorry drivers more so that people want to do it. These companies are making billions, and there's money in it for just to pay a lorry driver an extra £10 or £15 an hour. These guys are up on a Sunday morning. When we're fast asleep, they're up at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to deliver milk and stuff like that. And I appreciate them. I think they should be paid more. So that's my 50p's worth, guys. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but that's what I read, and I thought it definitely made sense to me that yesterday when I read it in an article. Yeah, BP driving it all. It always is. It always is. It always is these big companies. They're just greedy. Yeah, exactly. This was supposed to be one of the points of Brexit. Get out of the race to zero wages and pay our own people proper money to do our own jobs. Exactly, Sierra. But what's the first thing that the government of, everybody's jumping on now? Oh, we've got to get the cheaper drivers in from Europe. We've got to get the short-term visas. No, just pay our guys more. The money's there. The company's profits are huge, massive. And I'm not some Jeremy Corbynist. I'm not like that at all, but there is a point where you've just got to start paying people more money. It's not a race to the bottom, surely. Reading that before they used to make an average of 220 per day, since then reduced to 80 per day, which is why a lot of people quit. Yeah, I do follow a guy on Twitter who's very interesting. He's called The Lorryist, and his tweet went viral about a month ago, and he was doing a massive thread about how, like what he was doing in the day and stuff like that. And it's, like the job is so tough. It really is. He's just sat on his own in a cab for hours and hours and hours in a day. He's up at like 4 or 5 in the morning every day. He doesn't get home till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And like, you never hear of any kids anymore at school saying, I want to be a lorry driver. Like, but maybe that's the problem. Like the job is just looked at as being like this like, not in a negative way, but like this job that should be beneath people, like as if it's similar to be working in Tesco's. But these people are on our roads with 50 tons coming behind a family of 4. Like, you need the people that are good at it to do it. Like, I want to know if a lorry driver's well qualified. I want to know if he's done all the tests, because, he might drive his lorry into me one day. Is he responsible? Is he a responsible person? All these things, I think we should make it like, like the captain of an aeroplane nearly, because they can do a lot of damage. They really can. So pay them more. Pay them more. And obviously, you will get better quality drivers in from the UK. The governments don't care. Well, I think they do. They do try and do the right thing. I think they do. I just think it's just tough, isn't it? I don't think... Like, when you've got BP who can obviously control the market, like, you're at the beck and call of them, really, aren't they? Like, BP can create... Like, that's exactly what they've done. They've created a scare, haven't they? They control the market, don't they? It's like... Not trying to be like a conspiracy nut again, but the Rothschilds of the banking side and stuff like that. The governments have got their hands hard a lot of the time with it. They really have. They try to make the right decision. What that Grant Shapps said on Saturday, I mean, I don't like that Grant Shapps at all. I really don't. He's not my type of guy. What he's done to the travel industry and stuff like that's terrible with all the COVID stuff. It really is, and I don't agree with any of it. But what he said on Sunday morning when I was listening to him, it seemed like it was the sensible thing to do. It did make sense to me. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the guy, really aren't, but what he said did make sense. £25 per hour. Yeah, Dave, I think more. Especially for Saturdays and Sundays. If you're willing to get yourself out of bed on a Sunday morning at 1 in the morning, where you go into bed on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. to get up at 1 to deliver milk for people and bread for people, you should be paid more. I think you should be paid a percentage of the actual total amount of goods that's in your lorry. Like, what's the percentage? I know it would be very, very small, and I'm not saying they should be paid thousands, but like, what's the percentage of the goods in the lorry that they're delivering through all the supermarkets on a Sunday morning, so they can have fresh milk and fresh bread in? Just pay them more. That's my point. Didn't seem to have a problem delivering fuel last month. Have all the drivers left all of a sudden? I don't think so. Exactly. It was just a scare, but same as say, we have demand. We have supply, but obviously when you get excess demand like we've had, then we haven't got the supply chain that can keep up with that. So it was always going to happen, and everybody's just so crazy how they just go down there and fill up. But you don't want to be the one without fuel, do you? Let's go through then, right? Okay, who's been to the petrol stations and filled up? Who's got a full tank? Let's be having you. Tell us, have you been to the fuel station and filled up? Have you got a full tank? Who's got a full tank of fuel? Because it's okay saying like, oh, this, that and the other about the fuel scale, but have you been down and filled up? I don't blame you, by the way. I haven't done that. Guess what I've done? You'll never guess. I've been to the boatyard. The boatyard where I live sell fuel. So I've been to the boatyard. There was no queue there. Just went and got some from there and got a barrel of it. Because the queues at Tesco and all the main supermarkets were absolutely crazy. But I know there's a boatyard. There's like a canal yard where I live. Because there's a canal just behind the back of our house. And there's a boatyard about half a mile up the road. So I just went up there and said, can I buy some fuel off you? And he said, yeah, no problem. So got some from there. No queue. Very nice environment. Took me 2 minutes. And that was it. So you have to think outside the box. If everybody's zigging, try and zag. Yes, on Friday. So right, yeah. So you've up and get some then. I don't blame anybody. It's one of them, and you don't want to be the one without, do you? But this is how it happens with scares. But all these videos you've seen of people like filling the boot up with fuel and stuff like that. Like, these people are so crazy. I watched a video yesterday of someone filling up carrier bags and putting it in his boot. It's like, what is he doing? £100 worth. Yeah, well, it's just one of them. You've got to get it if everybody else is doing it. It was a joke. I saw people with jerry cans. The queues are ridiculous. Puts you off. I think by this week the panic will settle. Yeah, I think so. Same as say, it's not that we haven't got any fuel. It's just that we've got too much demand in such a short period. Sam Cav will be laughing with his IA. Yes, he'll be cool. Sam will be fine. Sam will be fine. Them i8s are dreamy. They look good. I saw that video you put on, Sam. I don't know if he's still in, but I saw that video where he lifted his door up and he's hitting another car next door or something. First world problems there. Right, so the problems was you couldn't go to grocery at Tesco, Sainsbury's or Asda because of blocked entrances for the fuel. Exactly. Yeah, I saw some like ambulances and stuff like that without fuel. That's crazy. That really is crazy. Now everyone's back at work, it'll quieten down. Yeah. Yeah, get yourself to Aldi or Lidl. There's no fuel stations there, pal. Just good food. This thing looks like it's coming back in balance here, doesn't it? If you look at this, I would be very surprised if we had another leg lower here. Way more likely to go from a probability sort of point that you're sort of going to see a push back into balance and then maybe see what happens into the US session. Can't see anything happening now. I look at this a lot with the DAX, and if it makes its first move and it sort of fails here, it's unlikely that it'll make another one down. Now we could get something that's, you know, some data or something that's released or a news event which would push us back down, but with the volatility that's just not there this morning when you're looking at it, you're sort of thinking, right, this is going to push back in now. And then my base case for the rest of the day is we sort of just chop around. We can make another low, but a lot of the time these lows here tend to be traps when you've seen this happen. So if you draw a little line in here, if we rotate back lower, a lot of the time this tends to be another trap and we get another push back up, and then we sort of just consolidate into the US session. When you get mornings like this, a lot of the time the DAX sort of doesn't really make any meaningful move until the US session sort of starts opening up at around 1 to 2. So you have to just be a bit careful. Yeah, so everybody's in on the fuel. It's just such a we do live in such crazy times, don't we? The world's gone crazy. It really has. Yeah, Merkel's going, which, you know, Merkel going could be a massive thing really structurally for the EU. It is a real big thing, that is. Who knows what, you know, like who knows how it will affect the markets, but I think it will do. What's the best trading day you ever had? Just want to know how much money you made. Just a memory of an amazing day. Oh, well, I had some really good days back when Brexit was kicking off and we come out of the, you know, like when the vote happened and it come out overnight. I was up trading, I was that night. And then also when Trump was president, that was fantastic for me. If you remember when Trump was president, the markets absolutely shat themselves. They shat themselves massively. And it's about 4 or 5 in the morning, he come out and made a speech, Trump did. And he sort of seemed like, he knew what he was talking about. He come out and was like, yeah, I'm you know, like made a big congratulations speech, thanked everybody in his party. And all of a sudden, the US markets just ticked up. And they just never looked back. And I was long that. I was up, I've been up all night watching it and I was long. And it was just amazing. I just stayed long. Now the volatility was crazy, and it was like this, but it was the bottom. It was basically the bottom, and we never looked back. Now I'm not saying I held on because we just pushed on for months, but I was long that day, and it was just amazing. I had a good day. So that was a good one for me. But yeah, any of the big sort of days like that, when we left the year, when we've that vote come in, like they are great days to trade. You've got to be up. You've got to be up with it. You just have, because the flows when the market turns at these points, the flows they just go parabolic one way. And especially I think if you've had a massive sell off, once the market ticks up and turns back around, the move back as everybody gets back in. Because it's so fickle, the market is, it'll change on a dime, won't it? And you can have the worst down days ever, and obviously you get a bounce, and all of a sudden that bounce just carries on parabolic, and once you get on that train, if you can just hold, you can have some huge days. You really can. If you've missed the down move, that is, you still got to be alert, because at any point it can change on a dime, and literally, go all the way back up and more. But yeah, that Trump election was huge for me. I had a good day. Good night, even. What about you, dude? What's your best day? Is it something like mine, where it's been sort of a massive sort of political day, which has made the markets shit themselves? I had a good day last March 2020, by the way, in the sell-off, in the COVID sell-off. Didn't do too bad then. Trading this strategy as well. Way too serious. Can we go back to talking about gear and pirate videos? What, the fuel crisis? Yeah, it's current events though, Dave, isn't it? It's current events. It was a bit too serious though, but it's current events. I have a setup for Ethereum this week. Go on then, Trader Z. Throw it out there. Let's see what you've got. What you're looking at. Ethereum. Everybody watch the chat, because Trader Z's on it and he's got a setup on Ethereum, which will be interesting. What you got for us, Trader Z? Brexit and US elections were great. Yeah, always good. Anything like that's always good. I think, same as say, I find them days, I'm not trying to like float my boat or anything like that, or say I'm some sort of nav or anything like that, because I'm not, but I find them days very easy to trade. I do. Brexit and US elections. You can sort of see the turnarounds, and when the turnarounds happen, they just go and they just keep going. It's not like, like normally day trading like this, like you're never quite sure if the move is going to stick in your direction, are you? Because it's like day trading. So you see so many reversals and so many like you think the market's going to go up and then it does. But when you get on them big days like that, when the market turns and you can see that the flows are coming back in, especially after a sell-off, it's so, like if you can just hold, it seems to be, like you can just do that. You can just hold a position and it just goes and goes and goes. So it's just about being in the market on them days and picking the right direction. I will share on Twitter if we break out. It's just a thought at the moment. Trader Z, come on, dude. Put your thoughts out there. Don't be afraid. Let's have a look, see what he's looking at on Ether. You'll be trading on a 1 hour, won't you? See, I like them highs there, I do, with Ethereum. Them highs there for me. If we push through them highs and failed, I think we're going to go back down there to them lows and test that. So I would be looking at something like that. A push through them highs. Don't like this consolidation just underneath though. That'd put me off. I would have preferred this leg to go up through. This little consolidation underneath that level is a little bit of an off put, if I'm being honest with you. But if this leg would have just gone straight through and we would have failed and closed back in, I would be thinking we were going to go down into this level here and maybe break those lows. Just my thought. Hope I haven't corrupted anybody's analysis with that. Let's get back onto workspace. Yeah. Do you trade every day? I found higher time frame filters only trade when volatility is up or after a consolidation day, or needed to make these breakout strategies profitable. So yeah, I don't trade everyday mechanical trading. No, I don't. It depends how. It depends if the setup's there for me. But I have a mechanical entry that gets me in and out of the market. Now, if that entry comes, then I trade it. But sometimes it doesn't come. I have a few days where, like, I think when I first started this channel, the Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday, I didn't even get a trade. There was nothing that set up for me at all. Now that can happen, and it does happen. You know, not a lot, but it does happen. So yeah, it is sort of a volatility-based strategy, but I use the initial balance for that. So I'm not guessing if the volatility is there. I'm sort of the context of how the market trades out of the initial balance will tell me that the volatility is there and somebody is pushing us out. So then I need to be long or short, if you know what I mean. Best days are back when the US JPY was in the 80s and Bodge bought in the market. Right, thank you, Net Mark. You've been around since I was in my nappies. I was born in 85. Short gold right now, Trader Z. Is that off that level that Dante was short off? Have you stayed short? I can't see anything setting up today. I really can't. There's nothing at the moment for me. I would get short potentially, but I would need us to push back into balance a little bit more, and then if we cracked out again, I would be getting short. But there's just nothing there for me. If we pushed back into balance here and went into, like, say 80, and then we broke back out of balance there, I would be short potentially. That could be a setup for me, but I just can't see it. There's no volatility, is there? And if you're looking at this now from you know, what we're looking at the moment, you know, what's going on currently, I would suggest we're way more likely to trade back into balance here, and stay in balance. So, but I'm not trying to have any bias or anything like that again. If we move back through balance, I'll definitely try a short, definitely, and I would be targeting maybe this down here first, this little gap that we've got, but whether or not we will, I don't know. Let's have a look, see what's going on the FTSE. Sierra, you're short the FTSE, are you, Sierra? I think I remember you calling it out that you were short the FTSE. Looks like it would have been a nice trade. What were you looking at, buddy? Don't know if you're still in the room. Where did you get short? What were you looking at? What time frame were you entering on? Was it something like this pin bar here, this 15-minute, or was it something a little bit more in depth than that you were looking at? Let me know. I'm interested, so I can banter you if you get stopped out. So yes, guys, there's nothing setting up at all here for me again. Liam's in. Morning, Liam. Dodo morning, but have an alert 52 with a stop at 89. Right, cool. That'll be the DAX then, will it? Sierra, yes, mate. 0.5 up so far. So that's what you were looking at on the FTSE then, that 15-minute pin. It's a nice spot, to be fair. Yeah, it's a nice spot. If I'm being dead honest though, I would have liked that to have gone that high there. I would have, you know, like that for me. If we would have pinned through that high there and closed back in, similar to like an SFP if you call it. But I don't know if you can see it. This pin here, like I know we're bang up there near this swing high, but I would have just liked it to have pinned through, and then that would have been a lovely short. I wouldn't have traded it because I wouldn't have seen it, but I assume your first sort of take profits in here, is it, Sierra? Maybe you'll be looking to take it down into this level here. Nice trade though, buddy. It looks like it's coming off for you. Stop loss is 7132 and she was 7092. Right, cool. Let's have a look then. Right, so your entry was down here then, pal. Right, okay. Awesome. Good luck with that one. You're trying out an EMA cross strategy, Sierra. Right, okay, buddy. Tell me about that then. I actually think, right, so this is my 2 pence worth, right, and this is what I'm going to, some of my videos are going to be about this on YouTube. Any indicator works. When these bozos are online saying, oh, the indicators, they don't work, they're talking absolute rubbish. What they're not doing is, they're not setting up the context of the indicator. Like, an indicator gives you an entry. It doesn't read the context of the market, an indicator doesn't. The context of the market comes from you. Your bias, what are you seeing? Like, you could trade a 1 minute, like let's say a 1 minute EMA cross. You could trade that into a 4-hour resistance of a swing point into a market, and I guarantee the context that you put that in will mean that the win rate on it, the one cross that you do get, eventually, I'm sure you'll have a lot of losing one-off trades, but the one that goes for you into that 4-hour resistance, when it actually goes for you, your take profit is more important than the entry. Like, if you can work out that, you know, this has got the potential because it's the overall context of the market that you're reading and you're placing that indicator in, you will make money with it. You really will. Indicators don't just, you know, like, you can't find an indicator that will just win and pay you out all the time. It's about setting up the context into that indicator, and then all the indicator's doing really is giving you an entry, a mechanical entry, and then also a lot of the time it can give you a stop as well. But that's what indicators do. If you were to just trade every moving average cross, you would probably lose money. But that's not the point of them. The point of them is to set it up into the proper context of what you're seeing. And that's where people get it wrong. Indicators do work, and they really do help. They give you a mechanical entry point that you can you know, like, you can have faith in, you can stick to. And if you set it up into the right context and the right bias, you can definitely make money with indicators. Now, people will say, well, it's your context and your bias that's making you money. Yes, I appreciate that it probably is, but that indicator is giving you a point in time where you can point back to where your entry can be at the same spot every single time. So that means that when you're backtesting, the context and the bias that you're seeing, because when you're backtesting, you're not backtesting the indicators, you're backtesting the context and the bias that you're seeing, right? Now, when you're backtesting, you need something, a mechanical point of entry that you can backtest to, because your discretionary entry when you're backtesting will always never, and I might be completely wrong and you might be able to do it 100% right every time, but from my experience, a discretionary entry will change when there's money on the line. It will do. It will change when you're in a losing streak, and when you're backtesting, you will always pick the best points of discretionary entries, always, because your eyes are just your eyes point to them. Humans always sort of have a bias to sort of make themselves feel like they're doing, like, potentially better than what they would do in real live environments. So for me, that's why I use an indicator for my entry and exits and my stop, and it's so that when I was backtesting, I could go and I could pinpoint the exact spot where I would be long and know that I would be long and know where my stop would be to the exact spot. So that's why I use them. And indicators do work, but it's all about context and bias. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. Getting on a bit of a rant, but it's definitely Twitter. People bash indicators, right? And this is my honest opinion of why these people bash them. It's because normally they're discretionary traders and they've got a signal service and they're trying to sell you something. Now, I might sound like I'm being a bit funny there, but that's normally the case. If you look at anybody who's bashing an indicator, go onto the bio, I bet you they've got a service and I bet you they're trying to sell you something. I bet you, 100%. That's the bulk of the people that will bash indicators, and they want you to think that they've got some hidden sort of discretionary, guru magic stick or magic wand that they wave at the market and they make all the money. If they're doing so well, why are we selling signals? I don't understand. Why are we not on a boat in the Bahamas somewhere, or trading from Dubai, driving Lamborghinis or 4x4s, enjoying your life? And I'm not talking about the guys who are doing that and selling services and using that as a marketing ploy to look like they trade like Astro do. But if you're doing so well, where's your lifestyle to go with it? Like, I wouldn't be on Twitter trying to promote my lifestyle if I was like a millionaire trader. Would I? Fuck. Why would I waste my time? I'd be too busy enjoying my life. I wouldn't be on Twitter arguing with people, telling people indicators are rubbish. I just wouldn't. I really wouldn't, because if you're so good at trading, you can get capital like this. If you're a good trader, you can get capital like this. I know. I've been sort of having it out with people over the last couple of weeks, month or whatever, where people will give you money if you're good at what you do, and you can prove it. You can get your hands on capital. You really can. You can. So if you're so good at trading, then I don't think you should be on Twitter discouraging others from using indicators when it could help them out. So that's my point. If you're a losing trader and you're looking at all of these discretionary people who are making discretionary calls and you're not making any money, the best thing you can do is get an indicator and become more mechanical. Because if your calls, if how you're seeing the market isn't working for you and you can't make any money, I say it all the time. And there was a guy who tweeted me about 8 months ago, and he was like, I keep losing money, and he's a good friend of mine now, and he's like, I keep losing money all the time, I keep losing money, I've been at this for years and years and years, and I can't make any money. So I said to him, like, there was no like charging, he's just a friend or anything. I said to him, like, look, just try and get a mechanical trading strategy of like just something dead simple, of a moving average or a MACD or a Donchian channel or a SARS parabolic or something like that, and just spend a month just trading it properly. So forget about what anybody says about the market or whether anything's going up or down, and trade it properly with proper risk reward, and stick to the stops and stick to the take profits, and just see if you can do it first of all. So let's just see if you're the problem or it's the market that's the problem. Like, what's the problem? He found it very, very tough to do. And this is what I find a lot of the time with traders that are losing. They can't trade properly because they can't stick to something and see it out, see the job out. But indicators, throwing somebody on a strategy, if you're a losing trader today, go and get a moving average, a 200 period, only go short beneath it, only go long above it, and give yourself another entry, a mechanical entry and a stop. And just try it for a month on demo and see if you can stick to it. And you will be very, very, very surprised that at the end of the month, you probably won't have lost any money, which is better than what you're already doing. You might have made a little bit, but you might not have made loads, but you probably have made a little bit of a profit a lot of the time. But just having the discipline to stick to that for a month or 2 months is the step in the direction that most traders need. That tells them that even just flipping a coin, if you get a 50 pence piece and you flip a coin and go long or short with the right risk reward, you're not going to blow your account. You might make money as well, but you definitely won't blow your account. It's probably impossible. Not impossible, but the actual probability of you blowing an account with the right risk reward is so far off. This is what people just get wrong, and they think that these people who are, like on Twitter or on YouTube or Instagram, who are showing them that they can make all this money. It's not about that. It's just about controlling your risk. It all goes back to controlling your risk. So even if you flipped a 50p coin with the right risk reward, you will find it very, very difficult to blow an account. Very difficult. Where people blow accounts is they lose, then they bet more because they've lost and they don't like the fact they've lost, so they try and bet more to win it back, and then they lose even more. And that's how you blow an account. So yeah, if you're losing and you're listening to this, get yourself a mechanical entry point, trade the thing for a month or 2. Fully demo, don't risk any money, and just see if you've got the discipline to stick to something and see something out. If you haven't and you can't do that for a month, you're better off walking away from the game. You really are, because you will never have the discipline to stick to something properly ever until you can do that. So I would say that's the challenge to everybody that comes and says to me like, oh, I'm struggling trading. I read another email the other day where someone said, look, I'm really, really struggling. I've been at this for 4 years now. I'm at my wit's end. I've lost my friends. I've lost my social life. I've lost more or less everything. And I was like, well, 4 years isn't really a big thing. I'm 11 in. I'm 11 and I still have the same problems as you do. I still have bad days where I make mistakes. I still have days where I feel like shit. I felt like throwing up Thursday or Wednesday last week. It was awful. So you're never going to master the game. Nobody does. There's very few people who can call themselves a master of this game. You will always have that issue of feeling like you're not quite there. But you've got to have the discipline and be able to know that you can stick to something and see it out. And until you can do that, you will just keep going around in circles. So that's where I say, if you listen to this, get a mechanical strategy. And this is what I could say about a mechanical strategy. Let's just find one. It could be so simple, so simple. but people just won't want to do it. Get yourself a moving average, an EMA, like something like this. Let's get the 100 up. Let's change it to the 100, just 100, like so. And get a Bollinger Band up, like this. Oh, that's the Bollinger Band width, Bollinger Band. Okay. So if you're looking at this now, right, you have to wait until there's a... So at the moment, the moving average is got like a slight downward curve on it, right? So you would only be looking at short here, because this moving average at the moment is pointing down. So you're looking for a close through the Bollinger Band with a stop above, and that's your trade short. If it's going the other way, this way, up, you only trade long. That's it. And just every time it does it and you get an entry, trade the thing and do it. And basically that's it. That's your entry. That's your strategy. That's your entry. And see if you can do it. And do it for a month. You might make money, you might not. But who the hell knows? Until you've done it for yourself and stuck to the discipline of actually trading properly, it's very, very tough to know if you can actually trade properly. Let's just get these indicators off. I might have an entry coming up here if this candle closes. Yeah, so I'm looking for a close through 60, 61. If I get a close through 61 here, I'll be sure. So yeah, so that's it. You've got to do it. You've got to put that work in. So these guys who are sitting there struggling and stuff like that, I can guarantee the guy that sent that email is just a discretionary guy. He'll just be discretionary completely, like he's looking, thinking, oh God, you know, I'm trying to get long, I keep getting stopped out, trying to get short, I keep getting stopped out. But you've got to get, if you're losing, you've got to make things more mechanical so that you can backtest and see where you're going wrong. Because, as I've said, if you go with your gut, there's not many people who can trade with gut feel and can make money constantly every day in this game. Because your gut's always wrong. Your gut will never want to make that trade. If you're in a losing streak, your gut will always talk you out of taking the trade that will be the winner. In my experience, if I listen to my gut and I'm trying to trade discretionary, it never works for me, because I'll go through a losing streak and then the one that actually goes for me, I won't be on board it, because I'll be listening to my gut saying, oh no, you've lost 2 or 3 this week now, you're down, your account's down, you don't need to be trading, and you'll never do it properly. There's very few people that can do it properly. Very few. Yeah, if it works, then there shouldn't be any snobbery in this game if you backtested. I see it all the time though, Sierra, like people like taking the rip out of moving averages, like, oh, it hit the moving average. Well, yeah, but what does that even mean? Like, why are you trying to say that that's not good? And then go to the Twitter account, oh yes, he's got a trading room, a discretionary one. It all makes sense now. That makes sense now. You won't want people to think that indicators will work because, you know, you want them in your room, basically, if I'm being honest. So I'm looking for a close through 62 and I'll be short. Don't think it's going to happen, though. See, this is how my strategy keeps me out of the game a little lot. Like, as you can just see there, right, I was setting a short up there. And this little reversal candle that's just happened here. Just happened. No, I'm not saying it might close red. And I could still get stopped out, obviously, but it just looks like it's a bit of a trap to me. So we'll see. Let's just see what's setting up. If this doesn't set up here now, guys, I'm going to get off. Because it looked like we'll push back into balance. You mean you don't see Warren and Paul Tudor Jones slagging people off? No, you don't, no. But it all goes back to why people are slagging people off, is a lot of the time they're trying to earn money off them, aren't they? It gives us something to talk about here and discuss, though. You know, the other day when we said about the guru, right? Who's had a guru that's actually done, like, you know, Rate My Guru, I think we said it was going to be called. Who's had one who they've paid for or been in a room with where they thought, like, you know what, this is like really good. I'm happy with the money that I've paid. You know, like, who's done that? Can anybody give me a guru who's good so I can do a bit of internal sort of, you know, so I might make myself a member or something like that. If they do a free 2-week course or a month's membership for free, I could make myself a member and be like the Trojan horse to see what's going on in there. But throw me somebody out who's good. I'm not saying they're all bad. They're not. They're not. They're definitely not. There's some really good guys out there, but let me know who's good. I'm discretionary, but I use an EMA to refine entry. Trader Z, see, awesome. There you go. Trader Z's a prop trader, and he's using an EMA. Why would you not? If something can help you, why would you not? Why would you be snobby about it? It's crazy. I don't understand why you would. If it gives you an edge and it helps and gives you, you know, like I look at it like I've said it like a week ago. You know, like a captain in a plane, he's got his altimeter and he's looking at that. You know, like when you're flying your plane and you feel like something might not be going right, you're relying on that indicator to sort of, you know, in the heat of battle, I can always rely on what my strategy to sort of know that it'll put me in the right spot. And if it doesn't and I get stopped out, that's fine. But they do help. They do help, definitely. So let's not bash indicators. That's my whole point of this. I paid for Will's WMD Forex. I liked it personally. Yeah, Will's a good guy. Will's a good guy. I've been and met with Will. He's a good friend of mine. I even ran a marathon with him. But he's discretionary a lot of the time, and I didn't see the things that he was being discretionary on myself, and it just didn't resonate with me, and it was more on the hourly time frame and stuff like that. But Will's got some fantastic discretionary stuff. He really has. But you've got to. He's an engineer Will's an engineer. He's an engineer basically. He had an engineering company in Birmingham, and he's very into like angles, certain trend lines of how they react with the market and stuff like that. And so you're either in that and you see it and it works fantastic for you, or you don't. Now for me, it did help, and I still use certain stuff of it to this day, but I don't use it in any of my actual trading anymore. Because obviously I just found my own footing and went forward with that. Now Will probably makes more return than me, so I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It definitely does, but I just think with these things like that, they either resonate with you and you know, like they work with you, or they don't. But yeah, Will for me was very interesting. Some of his stuff's very interesting. When you look at the charts he's got saved and stuff like that, he sees things his own way. He really does. Now I might see my things my own way completely as well now. So yeah, but yeah, Will's a good guy, really good guy. I've been for a meal with Will into a Moroccan restaurant. Like, was it Moroccan? It was Lebanese. It was cracking meal we had together. But I ran a race with him, the Bloomberg Square Mile in the City of London. I think it was like 2 years ago now though. Time flies. Sam at KB Trading. Right, so you've been in Sam's place, have you, Dave? Hedge Eye is top. Who's Hedge Eye? Forex Assassins. The guys are good, approachable, but just not my style. Okay, I'll have a look into all these. But yeah, I can vouch for Will. Will's a good guy, but same as say, it's all engineering trend lines and stuff like that, and he picks the right trend lines. He really does. And it can open your mind up to what's really there with how the market reacts to them. I think he's got that taser. That taser is awesome, and if you can see it, it's awesome. But every time I've tried to put it on my chart, it's never worked for me, ever. But I assume if you can see it and you can use it, it's a fantastic tool. Oh, here we go, Sean Lee. This is yes. Tom Dante. Yeah, Tom's is good. Same as say Gary. Tom's is very good. Similar to Will's though for me. My personality needed to be trading a little bit more often, not on the one hour stuff. But yeah, Tom's is very good. Yeah, all about symmetry, etc. WMDs, that's what it is about. Yeah, symmetry, market symmetry. But same as say he's an engineer, isn't he? Or he was. So you know, like he is going to see that type of them angles and stuff. Have I dabbled in Forex, Mark? Trade the pound some days, yeah. Same as say the pounds at initial balance is very good on the euro, especially on the euro and cable. It's good. You should look into it. You should draw it in. You got a couple of your own tasers, Sierra. Yeah, you see, Sierra, that's cool, man. I've tried to plot them. I just couldn't. It's like just couldn't quite get it right. Same. Ackle Stokes and Jason Greystones. Demo trader. See, that surprises me. Because I've looked at them two guys and thought, good God, what is the world coming to? I think they're all about the sub fees and stuff like that. But so yeah, if we get a close here through 60 now, my entry points move down to 60 from 62. I'll be short with a stop above that high, that one there. And like I said, I think my gap target will be the gap, hopefully. Maybe a first scale out, but I will hold the portion of it till 9 if it pays out. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to get off, guys. I think there's nothing setting up for me again. I don't think this is going to happen. But if it does, I will get short, definitely. But I'm going to get off because my stomach's rumbling again. But look out for this week. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 8:45. But I will put some videos on this week. I'm gonna try and come up with some. I'm gonna put the Bitcoin one on, and I'm gonna put the 1 minute time frame DAX IB on. The one that is the trade away from the IB, not the fade, the one that's the trade away from it, and go into how many wins and losses it have and how much or losses it would have made for the year. I'm curious what you think. They're all right, but you still have to do the work. I don't know them, Demo Trader. I don't know, so I'm not trying to come out as if I know them. I don't. I've just seen their stuff on YouTube, and I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just very negative with it all. I don't know. Not everybody's a scammer, are they? But I don't know. Just be careful, guys. That's all I'm saying, right? If somebody can't, this is where I'll say, Demo Trader. If you're learning off somebody, right, and they can't provide you with anything that can prove that they actually trade, you can't see any live calls that they've made over the last 6 months. It would just worry me. That's all. I want to pay for education, but I want to pay for education off people who can prove that they can trade, right? And that should never be a problem for somebody that is trading. Never. If somebody's actually trading, for them to prove that they're profitable should never ever be an issue, because they're trading anyway. So they should always be able to provide you with some sort of proof. And I'm not talking about a MyFX account. That does not count as proof. But like a broker statement, or jump on a Twitter feed and go back through the Twitter feed of their live calls. Like if they've got their own room, or YouTube videos, or Telegram, go back through the old ones and see. So that's it, guys. But that's what I mean, Demo Trader. There's so many people on YouTube who are trying to talk the talk but can't walk the walk. So that's what I just want everybody to be aware of that. That's all. But I'm not saying you shouldn't pay for education. Pay for it, but only if someone can actually prove that they can trade to you. So yeah, if you could like the video, guys, that'd be amazing. Get what I'm saying? Thank you. Right, that's good then. Coffee time, guys. Yeah, go and get a drink. Go and get a cup of tea. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and have a brew and chill. But as you can see, you see what I'm saying about this DAX? That's another live guru call made by me. I had my plan there, didn't I? I told you all this morning that it was more likely to go back into the IB, and it has done. But that, just because I've made that call doesn't mean that I've made any money, and it does not mean that that I should have a trading education course out there charging people money for it. As I've said, like, anybody can make calls. Most people can understand where the market is most likely to go. It's actually trading it with live money is totally different, though. All right, so have a good morning. See you tomorrow. Take care, and thank you very much for all stopping by. See you later.